Hi guys, welcome to our platform Online Study for You, a complete solution for all your placement needs. In this video, we are going to discuss technical MCQs and coding questions asked in TCS NQT 2021 exam. So make sure to watch the video till the end. I will discuss the questions as well as the approach to solve them, and then I will implement them practically using C, right? So let us see the things. Okay, so this is a technical MCQ questions. The first question is float. This is a pointer, right? Because you know that this asterisk symbol denotes pointer. Okay, so pointer P, then this is a kind of array, right? So it is asked here P is. So you have to determine P is pointer, array of pointer, float, pointer to array of float. The syntax given to you is a kind of something like pointer to array of a particular data type, and here data type mentioned is float, so it is like pointer to array of float. So that's why the correct answer is going to be pointer to array of float, right? And if suppose there, if whenever this kind of format is given and instead of float suppose you are having int, then simply the answer is going to be pointer to array of int. Okay, so make sure to be clear about this particular thing. Next question is, which of the following options best suits for memory leak occurred? So you have to determine from the given options which is the reason of memory leak. Okay, this is what you have to determine. So the number one option is resource allocation pending while debugging the code. Next is program releases sources allocated in the memory. Next is program does not free the memory which is allocated dynamically. Next one is occurs due to address assignment failure. Okay, so we all know memory leak occur in the case of dynamic memory allocation, right? So this is the reason of memory leak. Okay, so that's why you have to find a suitable option from the given options. See this one, program does not free the memory which is allocated dynamically. Okay, so that's why it is always recommended to deallocate the dynamically allocated memory, otherwise it will lead to memory leak. I hope this is clear. Next one is, which combination of the integer variables a, b and c makes the variable m get the value 4 in the following operations or in the following expression, right? So what is given here, m equal to, so this is a kind of ternary operator thing. Okay, so first condition is given to you, a greater than b, right? So out of these let's consider this b1, right, first. So a value is given as 6 and b value is given as 5. So 6 greater than 5. Is this true? Yes, this is true. If this is true, then this particular statement is going to be executed, right? Now here also a ternary operator is working. So now it is being checked, a greater than c. So a value is 6 and c value is 3. 6 greater than 3. This condition is also true. So that's why this one will be considered. Okay, 6 will be considered. I hope that you are clear with the ternary operator, right? So this time what we are getting, m equal to 6. But what actually they are looking for? They are looking for the values of a, b, c by which we can get 4 as the output. Okay, so let's try the option number D. So in option number D, a and b value is 3, 4. So 3 greater than 4, is this condition true? No, right? So that's why this particular statement is going to be executed. Now here b value is 4 and c value is 2. So 4 greater than 2, this condition is true. So that's why we will go to this particular part. So b value is 4. So what value is going to be stored in m now? It is 4. Okay, so the correct answer is option number D, right? Now the next question is, which of the following functions is used to accept strings with white spaces? See, we all know if you will use scanf, it won't consider, or like it won't accept the strings with white spaces. So that's why there is a function getS which we can use to accept the strings with white spaces. So the right answer is option number C. Okay. Now the next question is, what is the mathematical function used to round off 6.23 to 7? Okay, so you can see what is happening here. The value of, suppose this is x, or like I have just name it as something, so this is x. So you can see now after rounding off, the value is increasing. Okay, it's increasing. So this particular round in ceil, right? In ceil what happened? The value is rounded off in such a manner that it get increase of the given value, right? So that's why the answer is going to be ceil. However, if this value was rounded off from 6.23 to 6, then our answer is going to be floor. But here for this case it is 6.23 to 7, that's why ceil is our correct answer. Okay, yeah. So these were our technical MCQs that were asked in 2021 TCS NQT exam. Now we will consider the coding questions, right? We will see how they were and what are the approach to solve them, and then we will implement them practically using C. So the question is, we want to estimate the cost of painting a property. Interior wall painting cost is 18 per square feet and exterior wall painting cost is 12 per square feet. Okay, take input as number of interior walls, number of exterior walls, surface area of each interior walls in units of square feet, surface area of each exterior wall in units of square feet. If user enters 0 as number of walls, then skip surface are values as users may don't want to paint the walls. Calculate and display the total cost of painting the property. Okay, so see what is happening here. We have to estimate the cost of painting a particular property, and the cost of painting interior walls is given as 18 per square feet, and for exterior wall it is given as 12 per square feet. Okay, now input is in the form of, first you have they are giving you number of exterior walls. So you can see in the example itself there are 6 interior walls. Okay, so that's why the surface area that we are getting is 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6, and next these 3 particular surface area belongs to exterior wall. So this is 1 2 3. Okay, so this is the thing. Now so here an extra line is given to us. If user enters 0 as number of walls, then skip surface are values as 0. User may don't want to paint the walls. So suppose if user is giving interior and exterior walls as 0, so in that case what will be the total cost? That is 0.0. So just simply like that is what you have to print. And if in the case it is less than 0 and interior and exterior walls, it is by chance user has given something negative, then we can simply print this invalid input. Yeah, so this was also included in question. I guess this part is missing here, so I'm just telling this was also included. So now I will tell you how to practically implement this one. Okay, so the first thing that we can do, we know that the number of walls interior and exterior both are of integer type. So that's why, so let's take a variable in, another variable ex of integer type. Okay, and surface area, as we can see, they were of floating type, so that's why float. And next thing what we have to do, yeah, so these two things we have to take an input. And yeah, okay, next we will do, we will take a variable cost to put the total cost in this particular variable, and let us initialize it with 0. Okay, and take another variable which will take input of like surface area as input, so let it be surf. Okay, Now if some another variable will be needed, we will take in between the program, right? So the first thing that you have to do, just take input number of interior and exterior walls. So as they are of integer type, so %d, comma, %in, comma, %ex, okay, and then a semicolon. Next what we will do, we will run a loop, a for loop, okay, because you can see the surface area was up to the time or depending upon the number of interior walls and number of exterior walls that we were having, and which is stored in this particular in and ex variable. So we will first run a loop up to the in variable, then we will increment the value of I as well, and in this loop what we will do, we will take surface area as input. So as if it is a floating type, so that's why I'm using %f, then ampersand and surf, yeah, okay. And the next thing what we will do, see what we can do, yeah, let me show you here what we can do. First add all these surface areas, right? First add all of them, and then what we can do, multiply it simply with 18, because it is given interior wall painting cost is 18 per square feet. So first add all of these input surface areas and then multiply them by 18, so that simply we can calculate the cost for interior wall painting, right? And the similar thing we will do for exterior wall painting as well. First we will add all these things, all these surface areas for exterior walls together, then we will multiply this summation by this 12, okay, so to calculate the wall painting cost for exterior walls. And then simply what we will do, we will add both of them to predict the or to calculate the total cost, right? So this is the simple approach that we are going to follow, okay, yeah. So let's take use our variable cost, okay, and let it be 0.0, right? Taking 0 is not also a problem, yeah. Cost equal to cost plus surf. So here what we are trying to do, we are summing up the surface areas like interior surface area. Next what we will do, we will simply multiply it with, like whatever we have got, we will simply multiply it with 18, okay. So this is the cost for interior, yeah. So this is our interior cost. So what we can do, let's take two variables. This is storing our interior cost, and let's take another variable to hold our exterior cost, okay, and then at the last we will add them together. So this is interior and this is interior as well. Now we have to do the same thing. So yeah, let's take another loop, int I equal to 0, I less than ex, I plus plus, right? Scanf %f take surf as input, and then what we have to do, just simply add this up to this exterior cost. What you have to add, this surf variable, right? And then at the last, after summing them all up, just simply we will multiply this summation by 12, okay. We will multiply it by 12. Next, so now this in cost is holding our interior cost and x cost is holding our exterior cost. Now what we can do, just simply print the summation of both of these, right? So %f and in cost plus x cost, yeah, okay. Let's run this one. Okay, let me check the input values for this one. 12.3, 15.2. Okay, fine. Okay, now we will first provide the interior walls number, then exterior walls number. Okay, then what is the thing? Yeah, 12.3, 15.2. Okay, 12.3, 15.2, 12.3, 15.2, 12.3, 15. Okay, I just put a comma. Okay, so it's going to be 0.2, and so 6 surface area we have given. Next thing what we have to do, just simply give the surface area for the exterior walls, right? So 10.00. Okay, so we got the 1847.400024 as the output, but see here what we are getting. We are just simply getting 1847.4 as the output, right? So for this, what you can do, just simply do this. Yes, 0.1 F. So what this will help you to get, you will get just a single digit after the point. Okay, and see, the program is totally correct. The thing which we are missing, the condition which is still remain to implement, is that suppose if the number of interior and exterior walls given by the user is 0, in that case what will be the surface cost? So let's implement this as well. So if in equal 0, or ex, or like, or not or but and, yes, ex equal 0, in that case then what simply we have to do, just simply print 0.0, right? Let's run this one. Okay, so 0 0, yeah. So you can see here we are getting 0.00 something is the output. This is what you can do, and here also we can reduce this one just by putting 0.1 F. Okay, so this was the program that we have to implement for this particular question, right? I think that you got the concept. Now what we will do, we will discuss the next question that we are having, right? So let's see this one. So in this one, let's see what we have to do. First I will explain you the approach and the question as well, and then we will implement this using C. So what we have to do, display sequence of Fibonacci series until the number given by user and count total give even number and odd numbers in that series expect, or like, I think it should be except, yeah, except 0. Fibonacci series should start with 1. Total count of even numbers should be displayed in the first row and total odd numbers should be displayed in the next row. Number given by user for Fibonacci series should be greater than 5 and less than or equal to 20, otherwise display invalid input, right? So let's see what we have to do here. Yes, one more thing is, if number given by user is space, character or empty, display invalid inputs. The text message should be displayed in exact format as it is case sensitive. Okay, so what we have to do, just simply an input number will be given to us, right? And what we have to do, we have to display a sequence of Fibonacci series up to the time number given by the user. So we all know Fibonacci series, right? What is Fibonacci series? Suppose you have two numbers. Now the next number that is going to be the addition of these two, that is 2. Now the next number that is going to be the addition of these two, that is 3. Then 2 plus 3 5, 3 plus 5 8, and 8 plus 5 13, and this is how it continues. So here user has given 7, so basically we have to print 7 elements only. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Here it is mentioned that Fibonacci series will start from 1, that's why we are starting this one from 1. next element is also 1, and then we are adding the elements to, in adjacent pairs, and we are getting the next element in the series. Okay, so this is how Fibonacci series works. So first you have to print this series up to the number user has given, and next thing what you have to do in this particular series, you have to count the number of what you have to count, total even number and total odd number. So you can see 2 and 8 are the only even number here, so that's why the count given for even number is 2, right? And then the remaining are 1 1 1 2 3 4 5. So these are odd number. Okay, so you can see there are 5 odd numbers, so that's why 5 is given as the count of total odd number. So these are the things that we have to do, and we have also checked if the input given, suppose here we are getting 7 from the user side, but if it is less than 5, the particular input given by user is less than 5, or it is greater than 20, okay, or it is greater than 20, so then we have to simply display invalid input, right? So we have to take care of this as well, and this condition as well, that if user given, the number given by user is space, character or empty display, so then also we have to print invalid input. So let us see how to do this thing using C. So as I have discussed the approach, now I will show you how to practically implement the thing. So first take a integer n, so this denotes the input taken from the user, so as if it is of integer type, so that's why I'm putting %d then %n, right? So here what we have to check, we have to check if n is greater than 5 and n less than equal to 20. Yeah, so this was the condition, remember it was given in the question. We have to check this one. If it is not the case, then simply we have to print, yes, we have to print invalid input, invalid input. Okay, let's put a semicolon at the end. Now what we will do here, we will run a loop up to the number given by the user. So let's take a counter variable I less than n, I plus plus. Now what we will do, let's take a variable a holding value b, another variable holding value 1 b, and another variable c. Also, as we have to calculate the total count of even and odd number, so I am taking a variable ev and another variable od, and initializing both of them is 0. So here what we will do this thing. First of all, I will print this a, right, and next what I will do, c equal to a plus b. Okay, so c will store the summation of two adjacent numbers, right? So this was the approach for the Fibonacci series. Next I will swap the values, so whatever was stored in b, now it's stored in a, and inside b I will store the value of c. Okay, and then simply what we will do, we will print the, okay, so printing is done here, right? So printing is done here. Yes, here we have to check if a mod 2 equal 0, then what we will do, ev plus plus, else if this is not the case, then obviously number is odd, so then od plus plus, right? And now we will, after coming out of the loop, simply print this one. Now we will print this total count of even numbers. So as if it's, we have to print in next line, so that's why I'm using a new line character, and then we will print odd count as well, so od, right? Now let us run this and check if it's working fine. so the number given was 7, right? Okay. Yeah, I missed this one. Just a second. Yeah, 7. Okay, see, we are getting the expected output, but the thing is you can see elements are too close. So for this, what we can do, just simply make a gap, right? Again, run this again and put 7 this time again. Yeah, so this was the thing, and like you can see the codes were really simple, but the approach should be clear. So if you are clear with the approach, you can easily implement them like as I did. Okay, so make sure to be clear about the approach. After then, implementation is not a very big thing, right? Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.